Shalom. Today I would like to talk about the point of the Parasha. As you probably know, the 5 books of Moses have been divided into portions, which are called Parashot, of Parashas in English, Parasha, points, Parasha in Hebrew, and this is Parasha 13, which is from Exodus 1 till Exodus 6. And the point that I've taken that I want to deal with in this talk is yes, but, or Hinneni. What shall it be? What is it? Yes, but, or Hinneni? And because we see sort of with this story of Moses and the calling of Moses in Exodus 3 and 4, and we see that he does not want to go. You know, he wanted to go. He wanted to lead Israel out of Egypt 40 years, when he was 40 years old. But now it's 40 years later and he's been a shepherd for 40 years. He's 80 years old and he doesn't want to go. And he states so 5 times to God that he doesn't want to go. And of course in Hebrew or in English it doesn't say yes, but for dramatic reasons I've inserted this, and I will start his statement every time with his refusal to go, every time with yes, but. And in Exodus 3 verse 6, God says, I am the God of your father, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. And Moses hid his face, for he was afraid to look at God. This is at the burning bush. This is at his calling. Verse 7. Then the Lord said, I've seen the affliction of my people who are in Egypt, and I've heard their cry because of their taskmasters. I know their sufferings. And God's answer is that he's going to send Moses. Verse 9. And now behold, the cry of the people of Israel has come to me, and I've seen the oppression with which the Egyptians oppress them. Come, I will send you, Moses, to Pharaoh, that you may bring forth my people, the sons of Israel, out of Egypt. And then we get the first yes, but. And Moses said to God, yes, but who am I that I should go to Pharaoh and bring the sons of Israel out of Egypt? Verse 12, God said, I will be with you, and this shall be the sign for you that I've sent you. When you have brought forth the people out of Egypt, you shall serve God upon this mountain. And then we get the second yes, but. Then Moses said to God, yes, but if I come to the people of Israel and say to them, the God of your fathers has sent me to you, and they ask me, what is his name? What shall I say to them? And verse 14, God said to Moses, I am who I am. And he said, say this to the people of Israel, I am has sent me to you. Now we'll come to the third yes, but. In Exodus 4 verse 1. Then Moses answered, yes, but behold, they will not believe me or listen to my voice, for they will say, the Lord did not appear to you. And then God gives him 5 miracles. You know, the serpent becomes a rod when he throws it down, and when he picks it up by the tail, it becomes a rod again. That's 2 miracles. And when he puts his hand in his cloak, when he takes it out, it is lepers, and when he does it the second time, it is healed again. So there's 4 miracles, and God says, if that's not enough, pour out Nile water for them, and it will become blood. So he gets 5 miracles to perform before the Israelites to show that the Lord has sent him. But then we get the 4th yes, but in Exodus 4 verse 10. And Moses said to the Lord, yes, but my Lord, I'm not eloquent, either heretofore or since thou hast spoken to thy servant, but I'm slow of speech and of tongue. Verse 11. Then the Lord said to him, who has made man's mouth? Who makes him dumb or deaf or seeing or blind? Is it not I, the Lord? Now therefore go, and I will be with your mouth and teach you what you shall speak. But Moses still doesn't want to go. And we get this 5th yes, but in Exodus 4 verse 13. And Moses said, Yes, but my Lord, send, I pray, some other person. But then God says, I had this with my father as well. I said, yes, but, and then my father would say, no more buts, just go and do it. And that's sort of more or less the case with God as well. God says, no more buts, go and do it. Verse 14, then the anger of the Lord was kindled against Moses, and he said, is there not Aaron, your brother, the Levite? I know that he can speak well, and behold, he's coming out to meet you. That's another miracle. After 40 years, Aaron is looking for him. And when he sees you, he will be glad in his heart. You shall speak to him and put the words in his mouth, and I will be with your mouth and with his mouth, and I will teach you what you shall do. Verse 16, he shall speak for you to the people, and he shall be a mouth for you, and you shall be to him as God. And you shall take in your hand this rod, with which you shall do the signs. So this is an example that is a servant of God. Well, he's reluctant. He's reluctant 5 times to become this servant of God. And I've been a member of a church that you more or less had to be reluctant to perform a task, to prove that you were the right person for that task. If you had some inkling of sort of, I could do this, and you volunteered by yourself without anyone asking you, then it was considered that you had the wrong attitude. You were advancing yourself, or you were being haughty, or you were not humble enough. You had to be asked, and you had to be reluctant like Moses. This was the prime example of how a servant of God should react. But that's not true, of course. There's all sorts of, like Jonah. Jonah didn't want to go either. There's all sorts of stories in the Bible, and all those stories have been written down for us as example for us. And we also have a very positive example of Isaiah. Isaiah is not reluctant to go. He says by himself, Hinneni, here I am, Hinneni. And that's the opposite of yes, but. Yes, but, yes, but. No, Hinneni. And we see that in Isaiah, the first 9 verses. In the year that King Uzziah died, I saw the Lord sitting, that's Isaiah. I saw the Lord sitting upon a throne, high and lifted up, and his train filled the temple. Above him stood the seraphim, each had 6 wings. With 2 he covered his face, and with 2 he covered his feet, and with 2 he flew. And one called to another and said, Holy, holy, holy is the Lord of hosts. The whole earth is full of his glory. And the foundations of the thresholds shook at the voice of him who called, and the house was filled with smoke. And I said, Woe is me, Isaiah says so. And I said, Woe is me, for I am lost, for I am a man of unclean lips, and I dwell in the midst of a people of unclean lips, for my eyes have seen the King, the Lord of hosts. Then flew one of the seraphim to me, having in his hand a burning coal, which he had taken with tongs from the altar. And he touched my mouth and said, Behold, this has touched your lips. Your guilt is taken away, your sin forgiven. Now we come to that part of Hinneni. And I heard the voice of the Lord saying, Whom shall I send, and who will go for us? And then I said, Hinneni, here I am, send me. And the Lord said, Go and say this to the people. And then he gets the instructions what he is supposed to say, which is not the subject of this talk. The subject is to say Hinneni instead of saying yes, but, yes, but. And Isaiah says Hinneni, and he's very willing to go for God. He volunteers. And of course, the most important example of a willing servant is our Lord Jesus Christ. And we can see this in the Garden of Gethsemane, that he's afraid to die, but he's willing to go. In Mark 14, verse 32. And they went to a place which was called Gethsemane, and he said to his disciples, Sit here while I pray. And he took with him Peter and James and John, and began to be greatly distressed and troubled. And he said to them, My soul is very sorrowful, even to death. Remain here and watch. And going a little farther, he fell on the ground and prayed that, if it were possible, the hour might pass from him. And he said, Abba, Father, all things are possible to thee. Remove this cup from me, yet not what I will, but what thou wilt. Not what I will, but what thou wilt. That's not what Moses said. Hinneni, in a way Jesus says, Hinneni. And he came and found them sleeping, and he said to Peter, Simon, are you asleep? Could you not watch 1 hour? Watch and pray that you may not enter into temptation. The spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak. And again he went and prayed, saying the same words. So he said the same words, take this cup away, but not what I will, but you will. Verse 40, and again he came and found them sleeping, for their eyes were very heavy, and they did not know what to answer him. And he came the third time and said to them, are you still sleeping and taking your rest? It is enough, the hour has come. The Son of Man is betrayed into the hands of sinners. Rise, let us be going. See, my betrayer is at hand. So Christ is a very good example of someone who said, Hinneni, here I am, Lord, send me, Lord. And this Hebrews 10 this refers to this willingness of Christ. And Hebrews 10 actually quotes Psalm 40, where it is said that I have come to do thy will. And we will read that in Hebrews 10, verses 5 till 9a. Consequently, when this is, I've taken this bit out of it to show you that Christ, the willingness of Christ, that he said, I've come to do thy will. Consequently, when Christ came into the world, he said, sacrifices and offerings thou hast not desired, but a body hast thou prepared for me. In burnt offerings and in sin offerings thou hast taken no pleasure. Then I, Yeshua, said, Lo, I have come to do thy will, O God, as it is written of me in the roll of the book. When Yeshua said above, thou hast neither desired nor taken pleasure in sacrifices and offerings and burnt offerings and sin offerings, these are offered according to the law, then Yeshua added, Lo, I have come to do thy will. I've come to do thy will. In a way he said, Hinneni, here I am, Lord, I've come to do thy will. And this, of course, when the Lord comes to us, and shows us that we are supposed to do something, that should be, the best example is to react is like Isaiah and like Christ, to say Hinneni. And it's God will make you do the thing anyway if God wants to. It's not right to be reluctant like Moses and to say 5 times, I don't want to go. Or like Jonah, who didn't say, I don't want to go, he actually went the other way. No, we should say Hinneni. And we can also practice this in church. In church, often the leadership of the church often ask people to do certain tasks. There's certain tasks to be done in church, and if we're asked, if they're asked in general, what's our attitude? Do we say yes but I can't do this, or yes I don't want to do this, or yes but so, or do we say Hinneni, here I am? So I all wish you Shabbat Shalom.